Honestly, you'd think that international travel would be easy if you were rich and famous. But celebrity status isn't enough to get you into some places, and that goes doubly if you've got a knack for stoking up controversy. Here are a few of the stars who are banned from traveling to other countries. By now, you're bound to know that Chris Brown launched a brutal assault on his then-girlfriend Rihanna just before the Grammys in February 2009. What you may not know was that following that horrifying incident, Brown was denied entry into the United Kingdom. BBC News reported in 2010 that the Don't Wake Me Up singer was refused permission for a visa because he had been found to be guilty of a serious criminal offense. Brown had been slated to perform a series of tour dates in the UK, with stops including Glasgow, London, and Manchester. In September 2015, it was reported that Brown had also been denied entry to Australia and New Zealand. At the time, Brown tweeted, "I would be more than grateful to come to Australia to raise awareness on domestic violence. I'm not the pink elephant in the room anymore. My life mistake should be a wake-up call for everyone, showing the world that mistakes don't define you." In a subsequent tweet, Brown pointed out, "The youth don't listen to parents, nor do they listen to PSAs. The power that we have as entertainers can change lives." In early 2009, Miley Cyrus posted a racially insensitive photo to her website in which she was explicitly shown mocking Asian people. That didn't sit well with China, who immediately banned her from entering the People's Republic. The Chinese foreign minister said in a statement, "Ms. Cyrus has made it clear she is no friend of China or anyone of East Asian descent. We have no interest in further polluting our children's minds with her American ignorance." According to TMZ, the singer fired back in a statement on her website, saying she was just making what she called a goofy face and slammed the press for allegedly taking the photo out of context. Cyrus later issued a slightly less flippant apology. But China wasn't the only country to decide that they didn't want to host the can't-be-tamed singer. In 2016, the Associated Press reported that Cyrus was prohibited from performing a scheduled show in the Dominican Republic on the grounds that she undertakes acts that go against morals and customs which are punishable by Dominican law. The country didn't specify what those acts are, but chances are she likes to perform them on stage. A lot. Miley Cyrus wasn't the only former Disney darling to get banned from China either. Selena Gomez, who long branded herself as the classy good girl alternative to Cyrus's wild child, was also prohibited from entering the People's Republic. In 2014, Gomez met the Dalai Lama at rehearsals for We Day in Vancouver, and that was reportedly enough to get her banned from China entirely. But Gomez didn't find out about China's outrage over the meeting until 2 years later when she was planning 2 tour dates, one in Shanghai and one in Guangzhou. The tour stops mysteriously disappeared from her website after they were announced, with Shanghaiists speculating that it was due to her association with the Buddhist leader. Gomez's camp never commented one way or another on the reports, but it wouldn't have been the first time she was denied entry into a foreign land with ideologies at odds to those of the U.S. In 2013, Billboard reported that Russia denied Gomez entry to perform there for fear she'd speak out in favor of LGBTQ rights. In May 2009, Alec Baldwin made what he thought was a harmless joke on The Late Show with David Letterman about wanting more children.
Daughter would love to have more kids. Yeah, I think about getting a Filipino mail order bride at this point. Or a Russian one. I'm not.
The joke wasn't actually harmless to citizens and descendants of the Philippines, however, who took great offense at the remark. One senator from the country threatened the 30 Rock star with, quote, mayhem if he ever visited, and insisted that there was a law forbidding mail-order brides in the Philippines. Baldwin apologized to those he defended in an essay for HuffPost, in which he attempted to raise awareness of human trafficking. But it was to no avail. The Philippines Immigration Commissioner released a statement saying that, while frustration around the issue of trafficking was understandable, Baldwin was banned from the country. He explained, "By being in the Bureau's blacklist, Baldwin is forbidden from entering the country, as he is deemed an undesirable alien." Yep, you can add Bjork to the ever-lengthening list of celebrities banned from China too, thanks to her vocal support of a free Tibet. At a 2008 concert in Shanghai, the eccentric Icelandic songstress concluded her performance of Declare Independence, a song about fighting oppression no less, by crying out, "Tibet! Tibet!" Reuters reported that after Bjork's performance, China banned not just her, but a number of other musicians they deemed problematic. In a statement, China's Ministry of Culture said, "Any artistic group or individual who have ever engaged in activities which threaten our national sovereignty will not be allowed into China." The statement also explained that the ban applied to any artists and entertainers who, in their words, threaten national unity, whip up ethnic hatred, violate religious policy or cultural norms, or advocate obscenity or feudalism and superstition. It wasn't just the government that was peeved by Bjork's remarks either. The Guardian reported that her Chinese fans were also pretty miffed about it all. Bjork's reps have never commented on the controversy. Director Martin Scorsese began working on the 1997 film Kundun 5 years before its release. The movie examined the life of the 14th Dalai Lama, who served as the spiritual leader of Tibet before his exile at the hands of the Chinese government and forces. Harrison Ford, whose then-wife Melissa Matheson wrote the film, was also a longtime advocate for human rights and Tibetan independence, and the two even met the Dalai Lama during Kundun's production. In 1995, Ford spoke out about the need for Tibetan independence before the United States Senate Foreign Relations Committee. The film and the speech got Ford, Matheson, and Scorsese all banned from China. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Scorsese's ban in particular created difficulties between China and Kundun's distributor, the Walt Disney Company. It wasn't until 2012, when China agreed to release Scorsese's movie Hugo, that the ban was effectively lifted on the epic director. For his part, the Los Angeles Times reports that Ford remains an outspoken advocate for Tibet's freedom. China has serious bad blood with longtime Buddhist Richard Gere on account of him being BFFs with the Dalai Lama.
You're going to do something weird.
Well, no, not that weird, because I don't think I could do anything weirder than what the Dalai Lama did here.
While presenting at the 1993 Oscars, Gere gave a speech about China's alleged human rights abuses against Tibet, completely ignoring the prepared comments for his segment. Not only was he banned from China and the Academy Awards for the stunt, but he was also blacklisted from a ton of blockbusters because studios feared offending China would cost them big bucks at the foreign box office. 2 decades later, Gere told The Hollywood Reporter, "There are definitely movies that I can't be in because the Chinese will say, 'Not with him.' I recently had an episode where someone said they could not finance a film with me because it would upset the Chinese." Since the incident, Gere has mostly starred in well-reviewed indie movies, but even those don't always play out. Gere recalled one particular project. "There was something I was going to do with a Chinese director, and 2 weeks before we were going to shoot, he called saying, 'Sorry, I can't do it.' We had a secret phone call on a protected line. If I had worked with this director, his family, would never have been allowed to leave the country ever again, and he would never work." Russell Brand was deported from Japan in May 2011 due to his past criminal history, which was mostly rife with drug offenses, in addition to a 2010 arrest for a paparazzi scuffle. Brand's then-wife, Katy Perry, tweeted at the time, "I am so sad. I brought him all this way to show him my favorite place. Tokyo dreams crushed." Perry was on tour in Japan at the time of Brand's deportation, and the singer claimed that the Get Him to the Greek star was given the boot from the country over, quote, priors from over 10 years ago. Brand later mocked his deportation on his own Twitter account, captioning a since-deleted photo of himself in his Stark room. Planning escape from Japanese custody. It's bloody hard to dig a tunnel with a chopstick. In April 2011, Canada refused to allow rapper The Game into the country due to his alleged affiliation with the Bloods gang. The Game, otherwise known as Jason Terrell Taylor, was detained for several hours in Canada before being deported back to the United States. Substance Entertainment Group, which booked an entire tour for The Game in the country, didn't find out about the issue until the MC was already on a flight to Canada. A rep for Substance told TMZ that despite having previously obtained all necessary permits and approvals weeks earlier, Customs informed them that The Game wouldn't be permitted entry into Canada due to new information they had received implicating him with organized crime and the Blood Street Gang. Although they described this information as new, however, the game has long been open about his affiliation with the Bloods. After Martha Stewart was convicted of conspiracy and obstruction of justice over insider trading in 2004, America's favorite homemaker spent 5 months behind bars and found herself facing a lifetime ban from the United Kingdom.
The shizzle.
In 2008, The Telegraph reported that Stewart had been denied a visa into the UK due to her criminal history. The UK Border Agency said in a statement at the time, "We continue to oppose the entry to the UK of individuals where we believe their presence in the United Kingdom is not conducive to the public good, or where they have been found guilty of serious criminal offenses abroad." However, the media outlet also noted that an unnamed British official called the ban a bit silly, especially considering the revenue Stewart could have generated for the country if she had made appearances there. For her part, a rep for the lifestyle icon said she has a lot of friends across the pond, adding, "Martha loves England and hopes this can be resolved and that she will be able to visit soon." Mike Tyson was knocked out of entering New Zealand in 2012 due to his lengthy criminal record, which includes a conviction for cocaine possession, a DUI, and numerous assault convictions. In December 2013, Tyson was barred from entering the United Kingdom, where he had several promotional appearances slated. In a statement, Tyson said, "I have been coming to the UK consistently in the past decade, so this change is disheartening since it affects my current entry standing. I apologize to my fans that were inconvenienced. However, please know I am currently working diligently with the proper authorities to regain access next year for my UK tour." He added, "I have a great deal of respect for the laws of the United Kingdom and will continue taking the proper steps for re-entry." A rep for the UK Home Office confirmed that the rules had in fact changed since Tyson's last trip across the pond. Strangely enough, Paris Hilton has got a seriously huge following in Japan. Despite that, however, she was actually banned from the country because of her criminal record. In September 2010, Hilton arrived in Japan to promote her fragrance and fashion lines and was detained and questioned for hours because just one day earlier, she pleaded guilty to cocaine possession following an arrest in Las Vegas. Hilton told the press at the time, "I'm going back home and I look forward to coming back to Japan in the future. I'm really tired." In a statement, her rep said, "Paris is very disappointed and fought hard to keep her business commitments and see her fans, but she is forced to postpone her commitments in Asia. Paris understands and respects the rules and laws of the immigration authorities in Japan and fully wishes to cooperate with them." Check out one of our newest videos right here, plus even more Nicki Swift videos about your favorite stars are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.